Whoop! Ah, there we go. All right, hello, hello, hello. Well, I did a whole intro sequence and then didn't realize that I wasn't streaming, so that's probably bodes well for how this is gonna go. So, hello and welcome. It is the week of gaming over here on my Twitch channel, so we are doing a fundraiser for Lifeline this time around, and so far, as you can see from the little bar down there, I've raised about $1,100 so far. If you type !charity in chat, you'll get all the info to make donations. So far, we've met most of the incentives, which include me learning the Lifeline PS2 speedrun, which I am kind of excited about. It's going to be a disaster. It'll be fun. Fun for someone. Maybe me. Hopefully me. And beyond that, everything else is pretty chill here. So basically, the overall theme here is that we've been raising money for Lifeline. I've mostly been playing queer games that center either LGBTQ plus themes or are made from LGBTQ plus creators or feature LGBTQ plus characters in the game. So tonight I'm going to be playing through a couple of different indie games, and again to raise money for Lifeline, a really excellent organization that offers emotional and financial support for trans people in crisis. It is a shitty time to be trans here in the United States, and so offering microgrants to people is a way of helping trans people overcome the financial barriers and gatekeeping that oftentimes keeps people from being able to be their authentic selves, in addition to the hotline that many people that are familiar with Lifeline are already familiar with, where all of the operators are themselves trans, and again offering emotional support for people in crisis. So very admirable organization, very admirable cause, and yeah, it's hard to put to words how I feel about just seeing the number there and all that. It's I'm really floored by people's generosity. It makes me hopeful, I guess is the word. So tonight I have a slew of some indie games. I'm not feeling super well. It might be a short stream, so it's going to depend on how this headache goes and all that. But I was linked to this game yesterday, and I'm very excited to try this out. The reviews were pretty good. This is the demo for an upcoming visual novel, I Became Gay, from translating my new roommate's short story, it's excellent. I love long visual novel titles. And it's like, especially when they just kind of put everything right there so you know exactly what you're getting into. So let's get into this. And let's see, organize everything, make sure things are working, make sure redeems are on, make sure all the stuff that would otherwise scuff my stream is actually working. Wait, let's see. One last thing to check. Is CheersBot working? CheersBot is working. All right, cool beans. All right, let's give this a shot. There are some interesting I did read, okay, graphics very low, really? I know my computer's not great, but it's not that bad. All right, window, let's see, that's good. Ooh, you can actually change your fonts. Font size, auto light, let's up message speed, that's cool. Let's see, text to clipboard. Oh, sometimes the Discord ping is a little bit slow, but hello, it should be there in a second. Let's see, what else we got here? This is interesting. What is the content warning level? Please note this modifying incidental effects within affected scenes may cause unpredictable behavior. Let's see. So what does this actually mean? Let's do specific banners. Like, gotta make sure I don't get banned from Twitch if there's actually some hanky-panky happening in this game. Beyond that, let's see. We've got actual in-game copying for reading tools. That's actually really sick. Like, if you use the screen reader, there's accessibility options here for this game, and also having alt text or image descriptions and audio descriptions. That is pretty sick. All right. Love to see it. Love to see accessibility options in games. All right. Okay, let's get it. I love that how the game is just called, if you look at the top of the window, it's just gay from translating. Welcome to I Became Gay from translating my roommate's short story, also known as Gay from Translating, GFT, girlfriend time, and so on. If our flag system is working correctly, then it seems this is your first time playing. Yes, it is. Let's see, it does tackle some heavy themes, and it can get rather dark at times. So before we begin, I'd like to know if you wish to be warned when a scene featuring such themes is about to happen. You can choose the warning level that best suits your needs, depending on whether or not you simply require time to prepare before continuing or would rather skip. It's also interesting to have like a content feature like this, like just giving someone a heads up, like, hey, we're gonna talk about depression. If you're not in the spot where you want to listen to or read about depression, you can come back to this at some other point. Let's see. What level of content warning would I like? So summaries. The game will fade to black at the start of the scene and ask if you wish to proceed or skip. If you skip the scene, a warningless summary of its events will appear before the game resumes. If you proceed, let's see. A banner will appear in the top left corner of the screen at the beginning of the segment featuring degenerate content warning. You'll also be notified when the segment is over. Yeah, I'm gonna go with specific. Gotta be stream safe. I also like it they lead with that. That's actually very cool. It's not very often that you see that kind of stuff. And it's like, Lord knows that I've played some visual novels, but I would really have appreciated something like that. All right, I love this. I love this already. You've already got the VTuber culture clip art. Merlin, the sagely wizard of Sagacia. Sagacia crawls pathetically towards me and cries, Sir Aaron of the Saturn, we're not amassing enough burgers to placate the masses. Unperturbed by his despair, I lean back on my throne. And how did that happen? I asked gracefully. The demand is increasing too quickly for us to keep up with, and the villagers are already revolting due to the burger shortage. I snicker. That was your plan, you doofus of Sagacia. Sagacia? I'm gonna just kind of stick with something. I had him spend money on self-marketing tactics for a reason. I knew that the villagers unused to my marketing genius would be easily duped if we bought out their neighbors, and after that it was just a matter of time until demand skyrocketed. Oh no, someone's doing economic warfare. I stand up, my tiger skin mantle fluttering behind me as I rise, and Merlin falls to his knees, still unaccustomed to the sight of the glorious businessman hero that I am. Although my knowledge of video games and fantasy novels is of no use to me, I've read enough salaryman novels. Oh god, this is a capitalism isekai. Fantasy heroes are a worthy accommodation. They fight dragons and save the world, but call it a day once everything's done, not giving a damn about what happens afterwards. Even with the forces of evil defeated, civilization will be doomed to fall to ruin anyway. They're not leaders, they're con artists. Forget these heroes. We can learn far more from the fictional businessmen seen in my stories of choice. I admire how they trick their enemies and grow their empires with nothing but their cunning. I think back to a line from one of my personal favorite novels. Why should I pay you a single dime for your labor when I gave you the idea for this product in the first place, mongrel? Be glad that I'm even giving you this much exposure. After all, only ideas are worth anything in this world. Good God. I don't want to read this isekai. I don't want to read the, like, hyper-capitalist gets isekai'd into a fantasy world. I must envision myself as an entrepreneur. Yes, I'll inspire technological and economic revolution in this uncivilized medieval world by introducing fast food to it. I'll make Adams. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. So even if the situation grows dangerous, I must remain calm, of course. I wouldn't want to disappoint my 14 wives who are... Oh, God, this is a libertarian. My 14 wives are awaiting my return in my gilded quarters. So believe in yourself, Sir Aaron of the Saturn, because this world is nothing more than a stock market for you to game. There are no other ethical systems aside from capitalism. Well, and oh, this is the Libertarian isekai. I still need more power before I can unlock. Oh fuck, this is too on the nose for the isekai genre, which is uncomfortably pretty cool with slavery most of the time. Having thought of the next step of my plan, I strike up a Machiavellian smile. The returns will be massive. Huge ROI if I succeed. Glaring at Merlin, I say, the time has come for us to introduce a new kind of burger. A new kind of burger, my lord. And I laugh in the way that only the most successful businessmen ever laugh. That's right, a burger made of drugs. I love this stuff. It's what's eating you. Well, that was a lot. That was a hell of an opening. All right, that's enough proofreading nonsense isekai for a day. My God, this is the game about Aaron, isn't it? This game is just Aaron's life story. Ah, shit, she got the pink Crocs, too. Master of mediocre translations. I want that shirt. That shirt actually kind of whips ass. Girl on purpose. The state of Japanese popular media has never been so dire. It's easy to be cynical about the whole thing when you're constantly seeing stories on social media about creators being exploited by these creative industries. Fuck, I want this shirt now. How hard would it be? I just have to go to like a print shop and get Girl on Purpose printed on a white t-shirt. I could do that. All right. As more publishers learn how to optimize the transformation of artists into content creators, I can't help but reflect on my complacity as a translator in letting this creative bankruptcy flourish. This is extremely my shit. Look at this. All right, we're like 5 minutes in. We've got a nonsense libertarian isekai. We've got ripping into the lack of creativity and content creation. Oh, and we got a shirt that says Girl on Purpose. I stretch in my chair and yawn, breathing in a mouthful of leftover, soggy, instant noodle air. Who knew the greatest enemy of Japanese media would be its own commodification? Fuck. My stomach rumbles. I pick up my chopsticks and start slurping the rest of my noodles away. They've grown cold and honestly kind of gross. I must have really gotten into work again if I didn't notice that this much time had already passed. But I'm still nowhere near finished. And just thinking about the next chapter is making me tired. Like, those long passages of economics are just going to kill me. Fiction has changed. And as I turn away from the computer to rub my weary eyes, I notice the myriad empty styrofoam noodle cups strewn all over the desk. They're stacked on top of each other, the disposable wooden chopsticks protruding out of the gaps in the towers like they're gasping for fresh air. And when I slide my headphones down to my neck, the song I was listening to is immediately drowned out by the noise coming from my broken AC. Thinking about it, most people would probably find living like this impossible. But it's not so bad once you get used to it, really. I eat the last of the noodles in this cup, finish drinking the broth, and put it next to the other cup of the noodle cup tower. Stale, cold broth. Just the way instant noodle manufacturers, the way God intended. I move my chair backwards to stand up and end up knocking some empty cups that were lying on the floor over in the process. A few drops of leftover broth spill out of them. Oh God. Like, even without the visual aid of the background here, I can feel it. This is very evocative. I know when they say like the stale cold broth. Oh yeah, I know what that's like. I've been there. I was in college once. But whatever. It's not like any more stains are going to make a difference at this point. Well, let's try stretching. Okay, never mind. My body is as stiff as lead. Maybe I could do it if I made an actual effort, but it's hard to get in the mood when it's already so late. Outside, the city's lights are dim, yet somehow still distracting. While in here, the fluted colors of my monitor screensaver seem to be asking, aren't you going to keep working? Not now. Not right now, I'm not. I step away from the computer and hop into my delightfully concrete-like bed. Love a woman that loves a firm mattress. Pulling out my phone, I snicker at the idea of avoiding an LCD screen by looking at another before going to see if I missed anything interesting on social media today. Looks like my friends are still trying to get people to read the novels they're translating since their anime adaptations are airing at the moment. Blech. I find it exhausting how translators nowadays are expected to do advertising and PR for the things that they're working on. Imagine having to engage with internet communities, especially the loud and obnoxious ones, as part of your day job. Oh God, cannot imagine. Can't imagine having to engage with internet communities. Who would ever do that? I hope they're getting paid really well to do that, because if they're not, that just sounds like exploitation. Spoilers, they're not. That said, this is just the reality of working as a translator. Really, I should consider myself lucky for not having to do these kinds of things much, unlike everybody else. The most I have to do is crack self-depreciating jokes while trying to survive on the few crumbs I can get. This is too real. I'm gonna have to put this one down. Yep, it's a good thing I only ever translate light novels that will never become popular. What do you mean? The Libertarian fantasy isekai will definitely take off. Haven't you heard about Shield Hero? Why am I a translator? Maybe it's all just a dream. Like, I'm reminded of a certain translation of, oh God, Zungi's Parable of the Butterfly's Dream that I read once. Story goes like this. Zhangzi dreamed of being a butterfly, just minding his butterfly business, but when he woke up, he wondered if he was actually a butterfly dreaming of being a man. After all, there's no substantial difference between the two dreamers. How can you know who's dreaming of who? In the end, all he could say is that he's the butterfly and the butterfly is him. But the academic behind the translation of the story claimed that most people hadn't actually understood the story, and that it's not only about the interchangeability and transience of dreams and reality, but also about the transformative nature of material entities. Much like how life becomes death and death becomes life, Zongzi becomes a butterfly and the butterfly becomes Zongzi, we are always changing, metamorphosing into something else. And that struck me as a truly beautiful way of interpreting and translating that story. The fleeting nature of life and dreams accords too well with the flawed art of translating. A translation is a creative act of interpolation. This had to be one of the finest examples of the form. Alas, I haven't been that inspired about my work for some time now. So we're picking up with a burned out translator who is very aware of the exploitation that she's in and wondering, why am I even doing this anymore? Maybe I'm just dreaming of being a mediocre human translator, and if I close my eyes, I'll be a perfect butterfly again. Couldn't you have chosen a better life to dream about, Miss Butterfly? Damn, that's real. And it's like, why couldn't the butterfly have chosen a better life to dream about? Whatever, it's not like I can do anything about any of this. No matter how bad this senseless job gets, I'll continue being addicted to it. You could just like replace translator with streamer, and I would be personally attacked. After letting Inui overwhelm my brain, I put my phone down and attempt to nap away this depression, but my stomach rumbles in retaliation. Being hungry really is the perpetual human condition. I fling myself up, head to the kitchen, and start boiling some more water. My god, please don't make another cup noodle. Watching the vapor stream out of my kettle's beak, I find myself thinking about the light novel I'm currently working on again. There's a particular line in chapter 25 that perfectly encapsulates the difficulty of translating anything Japanese into English. You see, Japanese is quite a terse and minimalist language, especially compared to how verbose English can be. Ah, thank you, Steph B. I hope you're doing well, Stephanie. The difference between the two can sometimes make it feel like no translation from Japanese to English is ever going to be truly accurate. As a result, the difference in the nuance between the original script I'm working on and the word limit and the word vomit that I put out feels massive. Everything that I write is bloated, filled with meaning that wasn't there in the original. This is something I hear from translator friends. And this is like an interesting way of framing this, that it's like you almost, because the differences in context and the minimalism of one language versus the other, you have to add stuff in the interpretation in order to make it work in English. Which is why the whole idea of like a literal translation doesn't exist. You have to do some level of interpretation to get this to work in English. You can't literally translate it. It doesn't make sense if you literally translate it. That said, pictographic alphabets are fucked up, and kanji is very hard. So, I imagine other translators feel the same way. The truth is, we're just making derivative works loosely based on what we're translating. Oh, and by the way, the line that got me thinking about all this ultimately just means cash is the sex machine. Same. Just sitting there, making your kettle, about to make cup noodles, and it just haunted by this line. Cash is the sex machine. Translation, be like that. The water's finished boiling, so my breakfast burner is almost ready. I open my cabinet, revealing my instant noodle harem, and take one of the cups. My phone buzzes. I look at the time before picking up the call. My editor actually has a life, so I doubt they'd be calling me at 4 a.m. So there's no other option left. Is my mom's. Wait, mom's? Is in plural? Damn, Fiona, why you get to have two moms? She got two moms! I love this. This is great. Look. Also, using the clip art is beautiful. This is wonderful. This is great. This is true culture. The child has spoken. Feels like ages since we last talked. Like, you called me 3 days ago. And the last time we talked before that was 5 days ago. And before that, it was 8 days ago. You're pretty proud of your harassment, huh? It's like I feel bad. I actually just hung up on my mom right like during the stream. It's like we are proud of how much we love you. And besides, we know your habits, so we're calling you at 4 in the morning. Probably drinking energy drinks, working in the early hours of the morning. No, she doesn't drink the boomer juice anymore. Our girl has learned not to depend on caffeine. Oh, but she's drinking coffee. The devil's juice. So how is work going? It's exciting as always. Barely paying the bills. This sounds like every translator I know. I look back at the stove, suddenly remembering that I was cooking something. The water stopped bubbling, so I must have turned off the stove without realizing it. And thank goodness I didn't burn my apartment down. I put down my phone and pour hot water into the freshly opened noodles. Then I carefully rip open all that lovely, all artificial flavoring packet, dump the contents into the cup, and stir the whole thing with a brand new set of disposable chopsticks while meditating on the mysteries of the universe. I love that her moms are just reading her. Drinking coffee, 4 in the morning, eating instant noodles. We know we know you. You should use the, no, you won the $1 million prize. Like, honey, please, it's a $10 question. And you should go buy some vegetables. Well, let's see. So I let out a sigh. The 2 women who I call my mothers are always working on some big project or another, the scale of which their adopted daughter will never be able to approach by herself. Oh, so she was adopted by a lesbian couple. That rules. Hatsune Miku, Hatsune, autocomplete. Hatsune is a prestigious Japanese university teacher who specializes in 18th century American literature, while Kanako is an American political scientist studying East Asian security affairs. Damn, that's fancy. Those nerds met in some university book club, fell in love with each other, and have never been separated since. And for all intents and purposes, they are the most perfect and therefore most annoying couple I have ever met. Anyway, there's something we want to discuss with you. Can you turn on your video for a moment? Yeah, it's all, what's the name of the, I have it bookmarked. There's the one, let me pull it up for 1 second. Iratsutoya. Yeah, it's all clip art taken from Iratsutoya. Basically, Iratsutoya is a Japanese clip art site, and odds are if you ever see a VTuber using clip art in their Steam production, like, it is from that, because you can use them like that. It's like Dova Syndrome, but for graphics. I love the moms. They're so good. You two should be considered being oh god. They could become a trio, a comedy trio. These two wanted to raise their adopted child as a human museum of sorts, so instead of nursery rhymes and magical girl anime, I grew up with Kawabata and Soseki. And it's like, it was a pretty weird childhood, and I used to hate them for making me go through all that. Now I'm older though, I guess I can appreciate my upbringing. The authors I read as a kid ended up being formative influences on my taste, and I probably wouldn't have ever known about them if it wasn't for my moms. That said, I do think they're the kind of parents who wanted their kid to be a clone of them. And I'm grateful for everything they've done for me, of course, but I also wanted to be independent. And in the end, I sought out authors who I liked for my own reasons, like Dazai. I'm enthralled by the works of fantastic imagery in his works and the deep soliloquies of what human life should be. I wanted to get into anime too, though. When I entered high school in Japan, hearing my classmates talk about the shows they were watching, and it's like, shows like watching would always make me curious about it. But since my moms were very strict about TV time, my only option was that intersection of the literature that I knew and the anime I wanted to learn about, the light novel section in bookstores. See, light novels are a gateway drug to becoming a translator. How's it going, Bon? I hope you're doing good. I remember the first time I bought one, The bright and colorful visuals on the cover were so cute it made me really embarrassed, probably because I knew my parents only wanted me to read serious, classic literature, like Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations. But I got bored from only ever reading like the likes of All Guy and started craving something different. So I took the plunge, and to be honest, I don't even remember what that first light novel I read was even called anymore. But I still think about how it warmed my heart. Everyone loves popcorn reading sometimes. It was a typical high school romance. The other protagonist wanted to confess this to this other girl that she liked. Oh god, it's gay too. Damn. But what struck me about the story was how the characters were just normal high school girls, just like me. They went to a normal school and dealt with normal problems. Noisy parents, homework, being anxious about your crush, the possibility of dating someone they're head over heels for. And when I finished the book, I realized that's what I wanted. I wanted what I wanted was to read more stories like that. Those of people like me, going about their normal but exciting daily lives. And of course, wanted to see more illustrations of cute girls kissing. See, that's the money right there. It's the illustrations of cute girls kissing. Love to see it. Spend so much money on light novels for that shit. It's the only thing holding my life together at the moment. But I digress. I stopped reading from my parents' reading curriculum, and the rest is history. All right, so what do you want to talk about? Do you like money? Yes, I do like money. What do you think? What do you think about your living expenses being covered? This is a trap. Chicago. It says Chicago? Oh damn. Okay, I can do this. Chicago's expensive. So oh shit. I've been away for too long. I've lost my accent. Damn it. I guess it comes out I'm told that it comes out occasionally. So I grew up in Chicago, so I never noticed that I had an accent till I left the city. And then people kept telling me that I had one, but could never quite pin down what it actually sounded like. I guess it comes out in like a couple of words, Chicago being one of them. I say it like chi. It's Chicago. Don't give me that Chicago bullshit, it's Chicago. All right, okay, so would you like to have a housemate? A roommate. If you want to meet her, then turn your camera on. Oh boy. I hate being in the dark about things like this, so I turn on my phone's camera. Ah, I see. She's the character in Doki Doki Literature Club. I can barely make out the image of a girl next to my mom's. The artifacting is obscuring her facial features. It must be an issue with my connection. Like, American internet sucks. This is true. Aww. Yeah, way to ruin the surprise. Let's see, I wonder what kind of character this is. She's a writer, and she's a very good one. Okay, so she's a writer. I've heard about you. So despite her the noises, I'm taken aback by how pretty her voice is. Okay, this is really hitting the ground running here. And on the other hand, she must be getting a hell of a first impression from seeing me eating instant noodles in my Girl on Purpose loose t-shirt at 4 a.m. Why must you be doing this to me, moms? So the idea is she would stay at your place while she studies. What was it again? Anthropology at a university in Chicago. Which one? There's like 4. Most of them are famous. There's DePaul, Loyola, the University of Chicago, which is what I'm going to go with here, since that's the most famous one. She's very smart and a great writer too. We've already read her work, so we can vouch for her. Love when your new roommate becomes packaged like mom approved. So her parents and us are going to split the cost. We'll also pay for you to take care of her. Oh wait, what? What is this arrangement? Please teach her all about how great Chicago in the US can be. Okay, all right, so there's this little shack. It's called Byron's. It is the best burger place you will ever go to. They have a burger. Oh, Gurney Mills? I've been to Gurney Mills, yeah. Gurney Mills Mall. Everyone's been to Gurney Mills. Anyway, Byron's. They have a burger. It's a 5-patty cheeseburger. They also have, what was it called? It's called the Baron, I want to say it was. It's a double-decker cheeseburger, and then they top it with gyro meat. And it's just shawarma on a burger. I had it once, I fell asleep for 2 hours afterwards. It was one of the best things I've ever put in my body. So here's how this is my pitch for like, this is my pitch for Chicago. It's like, look, there's a lot of awful food you can put in your body that tastes great. If you ever, look, gyro on a burger is incredible and everyone should have it at least once and maybe only once because anything more than that might kill you. Yeah, the country's a dumpster. Haven't you seen the news? No, Fiona, you have to tell them about Byron's. The news say one thing, but Fiona Chicago will say another. It's not true. Aw. Damn, that's gay. Yeah, that's the other thing. Chicago drivers are wild. It's like, basically, I don't drive in the city because I'm afraid of it now. I just take the L everywhere. But I haven't visited home in like 5 years or so. God, I'm just gushing about how much I miss Chicago, aren't I? Yeah, I used to work in the Loop, like after college, so I would like commute downtown and be around like Millennium Park and stuff a lot. Anyway, the quality of the finally, the Wi-Fi has fixed itself. The quality of the video improves, and I can now see Junko's face properly. She's blushing while playing with her long black hair. God, this is gay. I feel drawn towards her. God, it got gayer. Oh, you're smitten. Wing moms. Oh. This is so gay. Like, they've known each other for like not even a minute. It's like, wow, you're really first thing in your brain, first thing in brain and out of mouth. Wow, she's hot. I love the moms. So when is she gonna be here? 3 hours. She's getting on the plane in 3 hours. Should pick her up at Midway. Oh, thank God. It's like we're actually in a small restaurant at the airport. Wait, wait, what? Oh my God, so they're at the airport? What? Damn. They lesbian moms set up the U-Haul for you. It's not even a U-Haul, it's a fucking plane. They didn't just set up they're like, hey, we're gonna pay for your living expenses. Also, here's this like beautiful author woman who we think you would be a great match with, where she's gonna move in with you while she studies at the famous university in Chicago. And also, we know you're going to accept because you're broke. Go clean your apartment. She'll be there in less than a day and jet lagged at that, so you should make sure she is comfortable. Well, any other questions for your new housemate? Sorry, that's a good portrait. That's wonderful. Any other questions? By the way, she likes girls, just so you know. You're not, oh God. These moms they would drive me crazy, but they're so funny. Like, so like you're talking to somebody who's awake at 5 a.m. eating instant noodles and you want me to have a party for her? Ah, we read every parenting magazine in the world and yet this is what we got. She says that she's a writer in the making, so no messing around. No hanky-panky. Junko hesitates for a moment, embarrassed before bowing her head. She glances up at me like a worried puppy. All right, don't worry, I'll take care of her. I think it's very funny that they pick Chicago of all cities. Like, if you're a broke translator, why are you living in Chicago of all places? Like, that's like one of the most expensive, one of the most expensive cities you could be in. Junko bows her head by this time with such force that she slams her forehead on the table. She lets out an owie as my moms make sure she's all right. Oh, she wants to see her work on her craft. She's too sincere. Oh boy, oh boy. She blushes again, and to be honest, it's pretty cute, and I can't help but giggle. This is like hitting the ground running. There's like no buildup. It's just like, yo, we in it. After saying goodnight to them, I brush my teeth and flop into bed. And while tucking myself in, I start thinking about Junko again. I hope I managed to come across as normal enough to assuage any worries she might have had. I don't know if I'll make a good housemate, but I know how tough moving to another country can be, and I got the impression that she'd been through a lot. So I'd like to at least make her feel welcome here. Closing my eyes, my mind wanders to the sight of her comely face again. I'm getting a cute housemate, and more importantly, my bills won't be an issue for a long time. It sounds like a new chapter of my life is about to begin. This is midway, right? I think this is midway. After 10,000 years, I've allowed myself the privilege of drinking an iced latte. Yeah, at least it's not LA or NYC. I don't know how anyone lives at either there. Yeah, I was like, I grew up really close to, like, I usually fly into and out of O'Hare. So it's like, I'm like, well, it's not O'Hare, so it's gotta be Midway, right? God, I want a shawarma burger right now. I would fuck up some Byrons. Anyway, after 10,000 years, I've allowed myself the privilege of drinking an iced latte. I don't like indulging in these luxuries much, and it's not like I have the money to do often. But I happened to notice this fancy cafe while waiting around on arrivals, and given that I just finished sending a big batch of work to my editor, I figured I could treat myself with something nice for once. Ugh, I got stuck on a certain part of chapter 28 for so long. It wasn't exactly hard to translate, at least linguistically, but there was this catchphrase that the protagonist kept repeating in all of his monologues about capitalism. And reusing the same vocabulary like that might feel more natural in Japanese, but if you do it in English, your prose will end up feeling weird and stilted. Not that I'm complaining, mind you, I actually find those words of those kinds of differences between writing cultures really interesting, but it is something that translators are always struggling with, even if it's not something most people would ever think about. So yeah, I had to research a bunch of capitalist theory. Oh dear, oh honey. Like, also I could get the ideas in the text right while rephrasing things so they'd sound natural. Seriously, I'm not paid enough for how much effort I had to put into this isekai about a fast food kingdom. My god, so she had to like read Wealth of Nations to translate this isekai light novel about a libertarian getting isekai'd and starting a fast food empire. That's unfortunate. I feel for this woman. But I do think a good job, I remember, yeah, a little iced latte, and this bittersweet taste reminiscent of the dichotomy between work and leisure. Yep, it's perfect. I take another sip of the fancy millennial drink. What? Iced lattes aren't a millennial drink. Where did that come from? I take another sip of the fancy millennial drink and glance at the flight information display. It's strange to say that the baggage from Junko's flight is being loaded onto the plane. I do need to check one thing. Slipped my mind. Oh, hey, we do have an incentive. Ah! I figured, like, I might have missed one of these. So there was an incentive redeem, actually, with that donation from Stephanie. So for Hazel to get a treat. And that means it's time for the Hazel cam. It's time. Let's see, turn it on. Let's make sure it's actually working. Like, the Hazel camera is a very old webcam that, oh no. Hopefully didn't break the stream. Oops. Have I ever mentioned that streaming is a blow up? Have I ever mentioned that how much of a blow up streaming can be? Because I tried to turn on my freaking webcam to show you all my adorable puppy. And it just immediately exploded. All right, let's give it another shot. Let's see if it works this time. All right. Hey, it worked. Cool. Never mind my audio box. Whoa, okay. Hazel. There she is. It's the girl. It's Hazel. She knows her name. Hazel, do you know what time it is? Hazel. 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 Hazel, Hazel. Oh, what a good dog. She shake. How do you feel about that, Hazel? Yeah, she's not the most mild, like she doesn't have the best table manners. Like, just the fat glob of drool as soon as you take out a treat. I love her so much. Hazel, what do you want? Why are you looking at me? She heard y'all talking about her. What's up? What's up, girl? Why are you just staring at me? What have I done? Oh, what a good girl. Hazel, go back. Go take another nap. She heard you talking, Evie. She read the stream chat and was like, oh, someone's talking shit about my drool. All right, anyway, I take another sip of the fancy millennial drink and I glance at the flight information display. It's strange to say that the baggage from Junko's flight is being loaded onto the plane. With nothing to do but keep waiting, my thoughts wander to my next translation project. The details aren't that tantalizing, it's just another isekai work, although this one is getting adapted into one of those smartphone games with microtransactions. But the real kicker is that none of the translators working on it, including myself, are getting credited for it. Wait, what? So they don't even get credit? And we have to sign an NDA forbidding us from even talking about anything specific, so we can't even mention the agency we worked for? It's yet another hella sketch project that's weirdly common in the industry, but it's like the pay on the job is a little bit better than I usually get, so it's hard for me to care about that stuff. So basically they work anonymously. Holy shit. But now my latte's been reduced to little more than half molten ice cubes. It's like I instinctively try to start tapping my feet in some futile effort to make time go faster. I want to go back to sleep. Come on, airport. Please let Junko out already. And suddenly, the doors slide open. Sprite reveal. Damn. You telling me she's an up-and-coming writer? And she got feet? Oh, she got feet, though. That will never be seen again in the entire course of this novel. Anyway, up-and-coming, question mark, writer? Question mark? That's how you know she's an author. She's got a cute cardigan. That's the real thing. That's how you know that she's professional. Junko appears before me. I raise my hand to greet her, but hello. Wow. Her smile sure is something. Shit's gay. So this is her first time outside of Japan. Damn, sorry to hear that. You should have gone to a fancier place like Italy. I don't speak Italian, unfortunately, and I hope my English is satisfactory. All right, well, if my English is good enough, then I'm sure she's going to be okay. All good. Damn, you took her on I-95? You took her on the Eisenhower? That's cruel. As I drive us back to my apartment in the middle of nowhere, yeah, it's like, how dare you take someone... This is my first experience in America, my first experience out of Japan. Hey, you want to get on the Eisenhower? You want to get on the Eisenhower at 3 p.m.? How about that? I appreciate the skyline, that this is all actual stuff from Chicago. This is actually making me really nostalgic for everything but the traffic. The traffic is a nightmare. As I drive us back to my apartment in the middle of nowhere, I'm finally able to get a proper look at Junko, albeit from the rear view mirror. Oh, she creeping, she peeking. Most of the tourists my mom has sent over in the past like to look out the windows watching the scenery and skyscrapers in the distance, but I notice that Junko prefers looking straight ahead through the windshield, as we sometimes end up making eye contact through the rear view mirror. Damn, that's how you know it's gay. Hello. Even these hellos of hers are so charming that I can't help but grin back at her. What's up? So you're a translator. Yep, Japanese to English, not the other way around though. It requires skills that I don't have. Personally, I still think it's impressive. I tried to translate from Japanese to English, but I found it quite different. Quite difficult. Ugh. Sorry, allergies are killing me, and I have a pretty bad headache, so I'm misreading some things. Yeah, you gotta go to the Field Museum. Although I'm excited for the date where they go and see Sue. That's gonna be great. Well, I think it's hard. I've done creative writing before, but I definitely think translating is harder. Junko giggles, covering her mouth with one of her hands. That's a very insightful observation. God, she's so cute. God, she's so cute. God, I'm so gay. Ugh. But I should be paying attention to the road instead. Like, look, officer, I'm not at fault for this. I'm not at fault for the accident. I was a homosexual. And there was a cute girl. You can't be faulting me for this. As our small talk naturally comes to an end, I turn on the radio. The song that comes on is one of those generic American pop tracks, but it beats only having the humming of the engine to listen to. And Junko still looks a bit timid, but she's bobbing her head to the tune, so I guess she likes it too. And come to think of it, I haven't bothered looking Junko up on the internet. Aside from their day jobs, my parents also have their own online literary magazine. But over the years, they've attracted some, let's see. They say it's just an excuse for having more literature to read, but over the years, they've attracted some pretty big names. So I figured Junko must be some kind of up-and-coming celebrity writer. On top of how talented they said she is, she's very pretty too. So to be right at home on the cover of a magazine, I can imagine her attracting a lot of attention, including my own. Sigh, I wish I were that talented and pretty. Damn, don't we all? Imagine the money! Imagine the money! Oh, God. Oh, I'm so nostalgic for this Art Deco art, this old ass. Oh, I'm so nostalgic for Chicago architecture. Suddenly, I notice that we're already almost at the apartment. So I take a left upon reaching the nearby intersection and make sure there's no oncoming traffic before driving into the parking lot. Well, here we are. Ah! We're getting out of the car and I take it upon myself to carry Junko's luggage. After all, my room's on the 3rd floor and I couldn't possibly let her carry all those things all the way up there herself, even if I have to sacrifice my biceps for it. Times like this is when I resent this apartment not having an elevator, but it's not like you can ask how much you want a cheap rent in a city like Chicago. Yep, this is true. This is true. Yeah, she's living in like Avondale, and she's like, look, I live in Avondale. Why do I not have any money? Look, I live in Ravenswood. Why do I not have any money? It's like, girl, you live in Lincoln Park. Why do you think you don't have money? You live in Lincoln Park. After I finish my yearly allotted workout, I unlock the door and I introduce Junko to her new home. It's actually really nice. It's cleaner than I imagined it would be from how your parents were talking about you. Oh God, living in Naperville? That is the most haram. Oh, Naperville is like the most boring place on earth. It smells nice too. I still love this shirt so much. Girl on purpose. Alright, it took me a few hours, but I did clean the apartment like I said I would. Granted, most of that time was spent spraying odor neutralizer everywhere to get rid of the musty instant noodle smell. Once we finish moving the luggage to a room she'll be staying in, Junko takes a closer look around the living room, and something underneath the TV stand catches her attention. Reaching for it, she finds a used instant noodle cup. Oh. Looked like your parents were right after all. Haha. And she starts laughing away. You think this would be embarrassing, but I can't possibly feel bad when her laugh sounds so sweet. I'll get rid of it right away, master. Do you watch American TV? I was wondering if the variety shows here are better than the ones in Japan. Let me tell you about The Masked Singer. Let me tell you about The Masked Singer. No, our variety shows are not better. But the TV's more like a glorified monitor for my laptop, or when I like, oh shit, when she want to watch VTubers or something. Damn, I can't believe that she watches me. So it's true that Americans only watch things through the internet. Oh yeah, that's definitely true. Basically, like I can't imagine like the last time I watched broadcast television. I haven't paid for cable ever. It's like everything is just online and streaming. Well, I don't think it's that American to watch VTubers. It's pretty American at this point. This is just mainstream culture at this point. After throwing the noodle cup into the garbage, I opened the fridge. Honestly, she would be a very good VTuber. Between being a massive disaster and bilingual, yeah, she'd make it. After throwing the noodle cup into the garbage, I opened the fridge and reached for one of the pre-packed salad bags. I brought some so Junko wouldn't think I'm a weirdo who only eats noodles, though my mom's might have altered her to my weedivore lifestyle. I've never seen that word before, but I instantly understand. Just living on carbs. Thousand Island sauce? That sounds so fancy. Thousand Island's good as hell though. Oh, that sounds good. Glancing over, I see Junko sitting on the couch, scrutinizing every corner of the living room with a curious look on her face. Well, it looks like she's already gotten comfortable. Pre-packaged salad with Thousand Island dressing. Yeah, that's the stuff right there. I open the salad bag and I dump all the contents into a bowl. I'm not sure how much how much sauce she wants, so I'll just present her with the bowl and the bottle. This is so funny to me. It should go without saying that I'm not a good host. The guests my mom sends over usually stay in hotel rooms, so all this with Junko is a first for me. I get the feeling that asking a guest if they want salad might be a big faux pas. As for me, I'll have these barbecue flavored potato chips I had lying around. Thank you very much. I sit down next to Junko on the couch and she turns on the TV before starting her salad. There's some cooking show about healthy vegan recipes on right now. Something about something kind of cool might watch if she were here in Chicago. Eating these chips while watching this feels rather sacrilegious, but oh well, what can we do? So she's studying anthropology. And you're also a writer. She stops munching. Her cheeks redden a little, and she swallows her food awkwardly. Yes, but I'm not that good. Reading famous English authors only makes me feel embarrassed about my own writing, and I find them to be too powerful. My mom seemed to like your writing, though. Yeah, and if they like it, you're probably better than you think. They have good taste. Let's see. You translate Japanese literature, right? Have you perhaps worked on Akutagawa? And it's like, yeah, I translate only the highest class literature, like isekai novels. I was wondering, your parents never mentioned what you translate. I do like Akutagawa, though. My friends think he's a bit old and ancient. While I don't really care for Rashomon, I do respect his goal as a writer. He enjoyed reading translated European literature during his time and thought of writing as a way to bridge Eastern and Western cultures together. I think that by adopting European techniques to tell Japanese stories, he helped others open the eyes of Japanese readers to the possibilities enabled by Western writing techniques. And I think that's pretty beautiful. And that's what I like about him as well. I find the writing for the world to be a powerful mission. So you must be proud of what you do, since as a translator, you are also bridging different cultures together, no? Oh! Oh no! Did it not work? Let me... I should be 3 fumos in a trench coat right now, but I am not. Are any of these working? Oh, I know what the problem is. This should fix it. Yeah! Oh, it's because that's right. I changed the VTuber over to a different... There we go. Okay. That works now. Unmute myself. There we go. Okay, now I am back to being 3 fumos in a trench coat. This hasn't happened in a long time. Let's scoot a little bit. Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, I like that Junko admires her craft, despite the fact that she's an libertarian isekai novel translator. So, what kind of fiction do you write? My fiction, well, I'm not sure I can write. Let's see. Oh no. Is she like a floundering author? Oh, she hasn't even written anything yet. She hasn't written anything publishable. So she hasn't had anything published. So she's not even a professional writer. She's trying out to be a professional writer. Slowly, Junko's voice becomes smaller and smaller. I can barely hear her over the TV. The only sound now is the TV chef's voice talking about vegan patties or something while in a bougie suburban backyard. Junko's merely fiddling with her fork in the salad, not saying anything. Is my first day off and so long really going to end with this social awkwardness? Not that I'm not socially awkward myself, but still. I want to say something, but any words I can think of get stuck in my throat. I'm reminded of the many times I stared at my computer screen in despair. The times I looked at my word processor and immediately felt my mind hit a blue screen of death. I knew I had a job to do, and that people were counting on me. So I'd force myself to type. And even when the words I wrote would scream at me to give up on the charade, I'd persevere anyway. Maybe that's what I have to do now. Hey, you still jet lagged? Junko slowly turns her head towards me. I can tell she's taking a few seconds to register what I just said. After a moment, she gently shakes her head and gives off a half-hearted smile. Well, my mom said I gotta take care of you. I was thinking we could do a little tour of the city before school starts. Ah, thank you, Fort Bath. So thank you. Let me just check real quick. Is there a donation incentive? Because I need to check. There is not, but thank you so much. Yeah. 3 Fumos appreciate you. 3 Fumos in a trench coat, passing as a VTuber. All right. So thinking if they could do a little tour of the city before school starts and you get too busy. So what do you think? I think that might be good. Yo, they're going to go to Byron's. Or if this is set like 10 years ago, you're going to go to Kuma's Corner when it's still good. Junko nods her head. Ah, thank goodness. I have to admit, that was as petrifying as any of the 2 job interviews I've gone for in my life. There was just something about the silence that made it feel like she could explode at any moment. It's clear that there's something she's worried about, but I can't tell if it's something I did or not. And anyway, at least we're going outside, and that'll make her feel a little better. Alright, what are they eating? I can't help but let out a weird laugh. What, Potbelly? I'm always reluctant to have guests try this local delicacy, even if it's a tradition for Watanabe family guests. Is it Italian beef? Even though I really don't like it. Okay, what is it? What is it? Oh, shit! Okay, which one are they going to? I wonder, are they going to specify a brand? I'm going to be hoity here. I get to be hoity about this one. I get to be hoity about deep dish brands. All right, which chain are you going to? No, the demo can't end here. No, I have to know. Okay, thank God. I have to know where they go for pizza so I can be elitist about it. Okay, so this is important. The best pizza in Chicago is Pequod's. It's followed by, then S tier is Pequod's. And then below that is like Luminati's and Pizzeria Uno's fine. I'll put those there. And Giordano's. They're all good, but Pequod's is better. The thing is that Giordano's is basically a national chain now, so you can kind of get it anywhere. Oh wait, let's see. We find ourselves at a certain famous pizzeria on Michigan Avenue. Bitch, they're all there. I'm frustrated. As we enter the place, I see Junko starting as I'm dreading this. I'm happy to for her, I guess, but I just don't like deep dish pizza. And the dystopian parking fees don't do anything to make me feel better, even if I'm sending the bill to my mom's. Oh, they went to Giordano's. That's fine. That's fine. We get seated in one of the several empty tables almost immediately, much to Junko's pleasure, as she quickly opens the menu. Oh! See, this is my shit. This is 100% what I'm here for. Here's a Yuri visual novel about going to get deep dish pizza. This is everything I need. Oh, the first one. Isn't this Pizzeria Uno? But that's also true. Everyone says they were the first one. Nobody actually knows by whom or by where the deep dish pizza was invented. Its origin remains a hotly contested debate among Chicago historians and pizza enthusiasts alike to this day. Restaurants will say one thing, local newspaper reporters will say another, and then the cycle continues. But the truth will never be known. But if you ask me, I'd rather spend my time reading Yuri visual novels than trying to solve this mystery. Okay, but what if you could do both? What if the Yuri visual novel was about this? What if it was about who actually had the first deep dish pizza? As the name suggests, deep dish pizza consists of what is basically a bowl made from thick pizza dough. The weirdly tall crust literally it literally forms a pond of tomato sauce in which a layer of cheese is sitting at the bottom. Depending on where you're eating, you might also get bell peppers or different kinds of meat. Definitely not something to order if you just want a light, quick meal. It used to be when people back when I used to play fighting games, there was like the deep dish challenge for people who would visit Chicago, and it was like to see if somebody could eat more than 2 slices before falling asleep. And never in my life have I seen someone get past the second slice. How does it taste? Well, you're gonna find out. I'll see, even as someone who's lived in Chicago for 4 years, I still don't get the appeal of deep dish pizza. I know, it's heresy. No, it's fine. It's casserole. It's just casserole. But it just feels like tomato soup and soggy bread, and that combination of almost liquid, but not quite almost crunchy, but not quite mouthfeel, it's just too weird for me to stomach it. All right, so you can pass the deep dish challenge. Oh yeah, if you go to Asen and you get deep dish, you probably got Giordano's. There's the one the Rosemont Giordano's is right there. Man, fuck Rosemont. Man, fuck Aurora. I'm just like thinking about how much I hate the suburbs. I take it back. Rosemont is fine, especially since they opened up the they call it the adult entertainment industry, but it's just like bars and a skating rink. It's actually like right across the street from the Rosemont Convention Center where Asen is held. So if you're going to Anime Central, Rosemont is actually much cooler, and there's a bunch of bars nearby now. Rosemont is weird though. It's so weird. I don't know. It's like Rosemont is like, it's just built up around O'Hare. It's just like, it's like a vassal state of O'Hare. It's such a weird suburb. I could talk about suburbs forever. I don't. Anyway, all right. But it feels like tomato soup and soggy bread, and that combination of almost liquid but not quite. Okay, we already read this. In my opinion, the real local delicacy is the fried chicken from a certain shack-like place. I'm sure my fellow Chicagoans out there know what I'm talking about. Honey butter fried chicken. It's honey butter fried chicken. Yeah. Woo. Let's get the VTuber back up there. Waha, I'm back. Honey butter fried chicken is a wonderful delicacy. Honestly, that might be real. All right. But that's for people who want to eat normal things, not tourists after the stuff you can't find anywhere else. Or the people accompanying said tourists. So we finished ordering, and Junko spends her time excitedly watching the waiters deliver colossal pizzas to the other tables. Yeah, it's just the lesbian translator original novel. It's really just about Chicago. This is like laser targeted at me. Here's the lesbian translator visual novel, but it's really just about like places in Chicago. Oh yeah, the Denny's up the street from the convention center. Yeah. A lot of weird times at that Denny's. And I hope things go well at the queer bar. Queer bars are always fun. All right, so her only oh no, she's gonna oh no, don't refresh Twitter. Ah, a translator friend's getting married. They're even posting pictures of their wedding dresses. Good stuff. They're both 40-ish, if I'm not mistaken, and have wanted to marry for some time now, but only recently managed to stabilize their household income enough to do it. Look, I mean, I grew up in the area. I've gone to ASUN for many years. And so, like, and I'm very familiar with, like, the northwest suburbs in particular. That's where I grew up. So, like, Rosemont, Aurora, Naper, like, I guess, like, if you want to go real far out, Naperville. Downers Grove, Niles. What else am I thinking of? Shit, what's the other one? What's the other one? Not Skokie. It'll come back to me. It's been a couple years since I was back home. But yeah, I grew up in the Northwest Burbs. So like, yeah, I'm very familiar with the area around the Rosemont Convention Center. So like, this is very funny for me. Like, this is just like, I'm living for this because like, even if they don't say the thing, I know what they're talking about and it's very funny. Let's see. Another friend of my timeline is talking about how they're a multilingual kid. They already know English, Spanish, and the baby language. I remember when they released a video announcing their new book and you could hear the kid going dun 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 in the background like a villain. I see. Let's see, did I just... I want to check this here. Because I have these up here. So... what do I have? Like, please don't mind if in the setting what if it's seen. I'm gonna... actually turn that off. Is there a way to go back, though? Because it looks like I missed a scene because of that. Well, basically, she talked about the doxing of a translator. So besides my life is already getting too complicated for me to consider getting a partner. Scrolling by, I happened to see a viral thread about another fellow translator, and the one I personally know at that, she's being doxed for adding oh, this is real. This is super real. It's basically, we were talking about literal translations. It's like chuds that get mad about things they disagree with. And it's like, and then say like, you're putting politics in the manga. Ugh. God, that stuff makes me, like, gets me frustrated. Like, there's no such thing as a literal translation. Like, there's no such thing as a literal translation. And yet people get so tight about it because they're mad that gay people are in a story. All right. Okay, enough. Done with Twitter. Thank God. Pizza time. It's pizza time. The pizza arrives. God, I miss deep dish. I miss cheap dish so much. Maybe my family will send me. Maybe I have an aunt that sends me frozen Illuminati's pizzas around like when big things happen. So all I need to do is get engaged, and then she'll send me pizzas. Yeah, that's normal. That's a normal thing to think. I'll pitch that to my partner when she gets back home. Yeah, let's hey, you know, if we get engaged, my one aunt will probably send us frozen pizzas to celebrate. Get engaged for pizza. That's a normal thing. People do that very normal people do that all the time. That's awful. Imagine being such an entitled shit baby that you're arguing with the original author who is in favor of the translation about the interpretation of what they wrote. Cannot imagine. All right. Okay. Do they like the pizza? Junko giggles at my bad joke before giving the pizza a tentative nibble. How is it? It is delicious. It's a big casserole. All right, I'm Team Junko. I'm done with Fiona. Fiona has committed pizza crimes. I'm sick of her. Her moms can stay, but she's out of here. Like no pizza having ass. Oh shit, there's gonna be some homophobia. Brace for homophobia. I can't stop thinking about that thread from earlier, so I take my phone out and it's time to read it in full. It goes into great detail about the manga in question, its author, and the context surrounding the politics that were supposedly shoved into the story by the translator. Atlantis no Tamago is a rather well-known shonen manga series about among teenagers. Well, I haven't read it myself. I've heard a lot about it from friends who have. The premise is the usual hero's journey you often see in battle manga. The protagonist lives in an underwater society and one day finds a mysterious egg while taking their seahorse out on a walk. A merperson, hatches from it and reveals that all of their kind have been imprisoned in these eggs, and thus begins the protagonist's journey to save the mer people. I'll honestly admit it's not the most eye-catching beginning, but apparently the fight scenes make up for that. The author took a lot of great advantage of the story's underwater setting to make them look and feel very unique, drawing in a lot of readers who were looking for something fresh. But as the story went on and the thread continues, certain themes started becoming more prominent. The human villains went to great lengths to conceal the eggs' existence from society, going as far as criminalizing knowledge of them. They feared that the eggs' contents could lead to chaos if they hatched, even though they only contained these innocent mer people. And the protagonist didn't know what to make of that. It felt absurd that the villain could be so afraid of something so harmless, yet their paranoia drove them to make their society increasingly totalitarian for the sake of security. Ah, what's good, Melon? As ridiculous as the situation felt to the protagonist, the oppression it led to was real, and they had to stop it. It was around this time that the manga serialization that the author, in as of yet untranslated interviews, started talking about their experience creating their previous series, or more specifically, how miserable it had been. Let's see, Dana no Nazo was a rare shonen series with a female protagonist, but other characters would often sexually harass her for the sake of comedy. And you might say that that's simply a given for the genre, but even at the time, some fans thought these scenes didn't match the mood of the rest of the series. And well, wouldn't you know it, it was the editor-in-chief of the magazine the series was published in that demanded these sex jokes be added. Obviously, a manga without boobs wouldn't sell, you see? The stress of working on a weekly magazine, being forced to add awful sex jokes to their work, and the misogynistic audience they attracted ultimately led to the author having a nervous breakdown. Dana no Nazo famously went into a 2-month hiatus before being canceled entirely. Citing mental health reasons, the author decided to stop working on the series, and for his part in the mess, that editor-in-chief left the publisher with a huge bonus. Oh, that sucks. The author intended to never return to publish again, but said they even considered quitting the manga together, but sometime later, they were approached by the magazine's new editor-in-chief, and as it turns out, they'd been a fan of the author's doujinshi work for a long time, and were willing to give them completely creative freedom in a new series, and they promised that a Dana no Nazo situation would never happen again. And that's how Atlantis no Tamago came to be. These interviews, the thread argues, provided ample reasoning for the reading of the series as a queer work of art, and from that point of view, it really does rather obvious. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. Let's be real about this. It's like, no, we have to criminalize knowledge of the eggs, because if the eggs hatch, bad things will happen. So these interviews, the thread argues, provided ample reasoning for reading the series as a queer work of art, and from that point of view, it really does feel rather obvious that the mer people and their eggs symbolize gender liberation, while the human villains stand in their conservative gender norms. Damn. This is a visual novel about gay translators that go eat pizza and then talk about gender. Yeah, I'm being targeted. Though, of course, a lot of readers still think SJWs are reading too much into it. Oh my God. This stuff pisses me off so much. Especially, it's like, I can't imagine, especially when you have someone, like, whether it's a translator or even the original author saying, like, no, this is my intention. My intention is that this is, like, very clearly a very overt thing. And then people are like, wow. Completely over their heads. It's like anyone that could tell you that I dead ass read a Twitter thread of 2 people completely sincerely trying to convince themselves that Metal Gear Solid as a series isn't about politics. But everything changed when last week's chapter dropped. The origins of the mer people were finally revealed. They're an ancient agender race sealed into the eggs by the first human colonizers of the underwater world who saw them as aberrations. Most importantly, however, was the protagonist's relief upon learning this history. Suddenly, they understood that the discomfort with their gender that they actually always felt was now they knew the way that they were raised wasn't the only possibility for how things could be. This history, while tragic, gave them hope that a better world could be possible. And the chapter ended with the protagonist, for the first time in control of their identity, proclaiming, "I am transgender." Needless to say, the first scantillations of this chapter to come out were a mess. Many of them changed the explicitly queer final line into something metaphorical. Ah, thank you, Melon. Let's check and see, is there an incentive on that donation? Because I can't see that. No, there isn't. But you know what? I'm gonna give Hazel a treat anyway. Because this is getting uncomfortable and heavy, and I want to take a break to feed a dog. Hazel. Hazel. All right. Hazel camera. Hazel cam. Hey, it's Hazel. Ow. Hazel, you shocked yourself. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Good girl. What a good girl. Look at this good girl. Look at this good girl. Oh. Oh. All right, go back to taking your nap. There's no more treats, Hazel. Stop looking at me like that. No! You'll get more treats later, don't worry. You've been working hard all week. I mean, she's pulling in the most work of anyone like, on this stream. It's like she gets up, she eats treats, she sleeps a lot. Employee of the month right there. All right. All right, so many of them change the explicitly queer final line into something metaphorical like, I am free from society, or chains won't shackle me any longer, insisting that this is what the author actually meant. Likewise, conservative readers would argue in comment sections that even if a character says, Boku wa, let's see, Toransuguenda, like, Boku wa Toransugenda, that doesn't necessarily mean they are actually trans. How the fuck? All right, no, wait, where's my own? I'm becoming the Joker. I'm being Jokerfied by this visual novel. It's like, how do you literally have the character say, I am transgender, and then like, no, it doesn't actually mean that. Oh God, the zombie, like the Zombieland wars. Oh boy. I still have memories. I still have dreams about the Zombieland wars. All right. It lacks a desu or da, like the local experts on the Japanese grammar said, and therefore it was an ambiguous statement. Are you fucking kidding me? It's like finally the official translation of the chapter was released on the magazine's app, and it translated the final line correctly, of course, and all those readers who'd bought into the myth of an apolitical Japan hated it. Also, fuck this. This is a real one here. It's like the cultural myth of like that Japan is an apolitical state. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck do, like, I wonder what, oh God. I'm not gonna conjecture what that is. It's like, what do they think the eggs mean? They're just fucking eggs. I know, this is too real. This is absolutely too real. They're just fucking eggs. There's no way this blatant leftism would fly in Japan. Fucking SJW shoving their crap into Japanese media again. They're mermaids, not mer-people. Stop putting Western LGBTQ shit in my Japanese manga. Between all the vitriol and homophobic slurs with red laments, it's no surprise that some asshole ended up linking the series translator's private information. And that makes me sick, perhaps more so because the translator in question is an important person to me. We've known each other for basically as long as I've been thinking about translating things myself, and I know she deserves more respect than this. Thankfully, it seems that she's safe now and seeking a therapist to help with the shock of it all. The idea of pressing charges against her harassers has also been brought up, but for the time being, she said that she'll just be taking a break from work. How the hell could something like this happen to her? I put my phone away for real this time, and the entire situation has left me completely dumbfounded. What else can I do but despair at the state of my craft? Back to girls. She has some tomato sauce on her left cheek. Oh, that's right, they were eating pizza. I point at my left cheek and she nods and takes a tissue to wipe it. But, yeah, thank God for this blessing of cute. For this blessing of cute in these trying times. It's just a work accident. Oh, did someone get hurt? Yeah, actually. I had no idea the translation was a type of work that could result in accidents. And I hope the person who got hurt recovers well. I remember reading a post on social media by a translator years ago that said something like, I'm scared of doing my job correctly for a long time, I didn't know what they were talking about. When people think of occupational hazards, I assume what comes to mind are jobs that involve manual labor, like construction work. And those jobs are dangerous, of course, but I wonder what they'd make of something as innocuous sounding as translation turning out to carry such a high risk as well. Looking down at the table, I notice there's only one slice of the pizza left. Did she eat the whole pizza? The fuck? This woman ate a whole deep dish? Damn. Can I get her number? It was so yummy, I simply couldn't stop. Oh my god. I finally met someone who actually likes deep dish pizza. So she picks up the last slice. I can't get Fiona, you're canceled for this. You're canceled for this. I'm canceling you for pizza crimes. Yo, it's the bean! It's the bean! Formerly known as the Cloud Gate, but fuck that, it's the bean. Want to take a picture with the bean? We're currently checking out Cloudgate, one of Chicago's most famous landmarks. If I recall correctly from an art seminar I took years ago, the artist wanted to create something akin to a portal between the earth and the sky, which is what they did. It's why it's so reflective. It's a worthwhile endeavor, but for the sake of simplicity, everyone just calls it the bean. It's like, this is how we Chicagoans express our affection for important pieces of art, by giving them funny nicknames. Okay, that's real. That's very true. If it doesn't have a nickname, people don't like it. But yeah, we should take it together. Oh, they're gonna take a picture at the bean. That's gay. Scoot, scoot, scoop, 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 scoot. She's gonna be in the photo anyway. It's reflective. Junko flies off to take a closer look at the sculpture while Grandma Fiona here looks around for a place to sit down. And how is it that she has so much more energy than I do when I'm only a couple years older than her? When we dropped by the art gallery earlier, she got really excited by the water fountain with the big towers that shows people's faces in them. Those are also really cool. I think I actually had to stop her from playing with some children who were there. We're like, okay, all right, she sounds great. She sounds like she's a lot of fun. Let's see. So likewise, she was fascinated by the ice rink next to the bean. I assume she didn't leave her old apartment in Yokohama, was it? Very often it seems like this was her first time seeing an ice rink. The ice rink is fine. It's like, to be honest, I kind of envy her ability to be so enchanted by these things. It all stops feeling special once you've lived here long enough. After finding a bench, I know exactly where these benches are. After finding a bench, I take out the bag of caramel popcorn I bought earlier and start snacking on it. I can finally wash away the deep dish pizza's icky aftertaste and relax for a bit. I wonder how long it's been since I walked around Chicago with someone like this. A year, maybe? Back when my moms lived here, we'd travel to Florida during the days off. It doesn't look much like it's changed in the downtown since then, though. Even the construction projects I remembered seeing back then still aren't finished. Oh, yeah, that one's true. Good to know my tax dollars are being spent well. My phone starts buzzing in my pocket and I pull it out, wondering if it's my mom's again. But actually, it's my editor. Well, so much for relaxing. Oh, it was good. I love the clip art. This is such a good touch. We need you to start working on Penguin Vikings right away. Ah, so you got the license, huh? Yes, but the publisher also asked for a print release as soon as possible. They're so old-fashioned. But then again, I had to buy a goddamn fax machine just to talk to them. Alright, but what's the hurry? It beats me. They want to test the American market before doing anything. But instead of dipping their toes, they're making us do double duty. It was either that or no translation. So I read the web novel version of this title a while ago. The full title is We're Stuck in an MMORPG about Penguin Vikings, and it's based on a popular browser game from back in the day, except the writer had a penguin character as also be Vikings for some reason. Aside from that, you also have the usual isekai setup about the protagonist dying and reincarnating in the game, and so on. But to my surprise, I ended up finding it quite an enjoyable read. It's a cozy slice of life, presumably because the game was about crafting things with your friends, and isekais like that are the only kind that I actually like. Alright, so what about that rule? The one about not making print versions of things you don't think will sell. We're gonna have to make an exception for this one. You're like, I need translations! Translations of Spider-Man! Marketing this one's gonna be hell, but I think we can make it work. So get it ready as soon as possible. Oh, and make sure it's good, yeah. I'm counting on you. Do the good job. Not even to talk to you later, huh? Translating requires you to think about language long and hard, so doing it both quickly and well is basically impossible. Alas, and that's what being a translator in the modern era entails. Junko comes back looking like she's had a far better time here than I did. Let's see. All right, so it's getting late. It's like, so where are they going? She's gonna watch her work. That's gay. I can't imagine why she'd ask that, but well, if you want to see me look at a blank document for several hours, then sure. Sure, you can watch me work. This is like the most male living spaces background I've ever seen in a Yuri visual novel. It's Junko's first time setting foot in Fiona's room as well, so where to begin? And it's like, well, like, they're like, how do we, Junko wonders, piles of dirty clothes haphazardly shoved to the corners and several trash bags are laying around, which are likely the source of the bizarre stale broth and air freshener smell. And why does her desk have bottles of mouthwash and a toothbrush on it? I hope you enjoy lurking. Yeah, this is like very real, like, bitch, you live like this? I'm curious what an actual, like, how this would hit with an actual translator, just from what I know from hearing friends talk about it. Even I'm getting hit by the, like, ooh, that's uncomfortably real. So why does her desk have a bottle of mouthwash and a toothbrush on it? Just the thought of the story behind that one is enough to send a shiver up Junko's spine. But to be fair, while this is all certainly disgusting, it's not nearly as horrible as Fiona's parents made the apartment made it sound. Fiona clearly at least tried to clear things up. An effort was made. Her trying so hard but still failing so utterly, it must have been an adorable sight. Ha ha ha! You're not good at cleaning, are you? What? Okay, Zoomer. You should at least throw these trash bags out. The smell's very strong, and can I open up a window to get fresh air? No, the bugs might come in. That's the bug, yeah. Oh boy. Love cheap Chicago apartments. Fiona shrugs and sits down at her computer. It seems like her editor's already sent her a script for the next project. Meanwhile, Junko makes herself comfortable on the bed, or as comfortable as this thing allows. Anyway, just sitting on it makes her about hurt. So, where did you get this bed? Oh, whoa. They just left a bed? And you just sleep on it? This is damn bitch you live like this. She puts on some music, like Fiona puts on some music, and the familiar catchy opening riff hits Junko like a tidal wave of nostalgia. This is the boss stream from Anti-capitalism. And like, oh, you played it? I wasn't expecting someone like you to be into a game like that. Junko recalls playing it when it first came out back during her high school days. Although its graphics and music harkened back to a generation of games from before she was born, she and her few friends still had a lot of fun discussing the game's secrets and story. Truly, those were the days. This is actually kind of catchy. Because translation is just like, so why do you listen to this? Because translation is just as epic as fighting a difficult boss. This game has a laugh track. This game has a laugh track. Oh my god. Looking amusingly dejected, Fiona turns back to her monitor and starts working. Progress is steady at first, as the song apparently does get her in the mood, but she soon starts furrowing her brow while staring daggers at the document. Junko figures she must have run into some kind of trouble. This boss is I'm having a bad time. Let's see. Inugami ke no Ichizoku. That means Clan of the Inugami, if I'm not mistaken. And the accompanying illustration shows a character's legs sticking out of the water while they are underwater. Like, while they are underwater, is that it? Like, yeah, I'm not afraid I don't get it. Like, what is this supposed to mean? I haven't reincarnated into another world where this makes sense, right? Is it supposed to be some kind of weird joke? Or maybe just a plain non sequitur? It's like, maybe it's a reference to something? Have you thought about looking it up online? Like, this is the kind of stuff that I'm floored by, like, by the work that translators put in being able to contextualize stuff like this so that a monolingual... No, am I still monolingual? Like, I can comprehend a lot of German. 1.5 lingual person can actually, like, understand, the context of these jokes. Oh no. Oh no, they went in, now they're looking it up, they went to they're asking the Google! Sure enough, it's the title of an old murder mystery novel. It later received a movie adaptation, and here's the kicker. The poster prominently featured a corpse partially submerged in water, its legs sticking out of the air, just like in the story's illustration. She groans at the revelation while Junko can't stop giggling. Like, how in the world was she supposed to know that? I think I might hate translating. It's like, so what are you translating that you had to, like, find this old movie poster for? An isekai novel about penguin Vikings. Well, as far as translation-related frustrations go, I guess references to old media that come out of nowhere aren't that bad. I've had more trouble with stuff like words that completely change their meaning depending on the context. That kind of stuff is way more annoying to deal with, and it makes you feel dumb when you mess it up. Junko pets Fiona's back to show her appreciation. It must be tough doing a job that's so difficult and so underappreciated. She remembers hearing about the social aspect of being a translator, how you're either invisible and no one acknowledges your work, or you're too visible and people blame you for any perceived flaws in the text. Oh, we're getting real again. And it just sounds like an unwinnable battle. That sounds like... A professional, is that a JoJo's is that a JoJo's reference? That's very funny. Imagine, like, JoJo's having become so prolific that even people that don't know it have to somehow know what these references are. Like, I remember when I was reading part 3 like 15 years ago. No, was it more 15? Like, when I started reading JoJo's, oh god, it was like on the edge of, like, it was over 10 years ago. It was like a weird niche thing that most people weren't aware of, and now it's like, it's just a common thing that everyone knows about. So much so that it's like, the number of times I've seen like yare yare, like references or anything with like any JoJo stuff's everywhere now. I miss when it was hip and trendy. Anyway, So obtuse references like this aren't that bad, but they can make me feel like I don't know enough about Japanese or English to be able to translate properly. It's a silly problem when I think about it, but it's really demoralizing. And now, she is demoralized. It seems the song isn't helping much anymore, but the situation reminds Junko of the final battle in Entulier. Entulier? However, the protagonist got back up again and again, refusing to give up despite being completely outmatched by the villain. And maybe not the most unique of stories, but it's one that's inspired Junko ever since she began writing in earnest. And thinking about that story, in turn, makes her think about Fiona. She'd originally thought of Fiona as an easygoing person, maybe even to an unhealthy degree. It might be Aunt Dooler. Look. I'm doing my best out here. Despite her earlier complaints about her work, the contrast between her earlier aloof demeanor and their current look of determination is like night and day. Even when she gets stuck in a boss and spends several minutes staring daggers at the screen, it's obvious how much she truly cares about her work. Seeing this, Junko can't help but respect Fiona. I kind of like this perspective shift, because initially you just got Fiona being stressed out and burnt out, and she's sitting here wondering, why am I even doing this? You know, she's caught in this dichotomy like of either having to basically be an influencer or like to promote the work, and then in the stress that goes along with that, not even to consider the exposure that she's putting herself through, where she's going to have to potentially like catch hands. It's like for being more public and for translating something that people think is political. But then we get Junko's perspective, and she's just like has a lot of respect for her and how hard she's working, and that rules. Writing felt like a joy at first, exploring ideas she found interesting, improving her craft, and expressing herself. She wanted her stories to inspire others, just like how she'd been inspired by her own favorites as a reader, and isn't that what every writer really wants? Or But no matter how many times she tried, her stories were only ever rejected by publishers. The letters kept coming, one by one, two by two, dozens by dozens. They filled up her email inbox and mailbox. She still read every one of them, clinging to hope, believing that maybe this time things would be different. But it was always the same thing. Thank you for submitting your story to blank magazine. And it's like, but unfortunately, we don't believe it's a good fit for us. Always the same generic template, always the same, please try again. As the rejections continued to pile up, that hope turned into disappointment, and that disappointment turned into fear. And after all, hadn't she told her family to trust her? No, dropping out of school to write full-time won't be a mistake. I promise you, Mom, I'm gonna be a big writer soon. It might just take a while for me to find my footing, but it'll all pay off in the end. Just watch, Dad. I don't need to ask you for money from here on. It's not going to be a waste of time. It's not. It's all gonna work out. And then 5 years had passed. And all that Junko had to show for herself was a single published short story from 3 years ago. 5 years and just one story. What a joke. Today, simply finding the motivation to sit down and write feels impossible. And even when she does manage to do it, the words don't come out anyway. And if she tries to push through, the same thoughts always return to Junko's mind. There's no point in trying. Because I'll just get rejected again. Because my ideas aren't good enough. Because I'm not good enough. Ah, fuck. And I'll never be good enough. I'm just wasting my family's time and money, and now Fiona's parents' money too. And she finds herself thinking the things she's been trying not to since this morning. If Fiona makes it look so easy, then why is it so hard for me? And that's why she respects Fiona. She respects how passionately Fiona can work, how she has a direction in life. And that respect also feels like poison in her heart. Whew. Well, that's an inversion. That's not what I was expecting out of this character. All right, got it! Fiona exclaimed in a triumphant voice. It looks like she's been trying to figure out how to make that reference work in English, and she finally found a way. Let's just say it's synchronized swimming. Screw your old ass references. Oh boy. She looks away, and for a moment, Fiona can see her eyes. They look completely unlike her earlier gentleness. Are you good? Yes, I just... She gets up and looks at the closed window, at the oil stains, the garbage bags, anywhere but Fiona. God, this really does smell awful. Hey. She doesn't want Fiona to see her like this. The music of her high school days fades into the background. Oh boy. There's a teddy bear. That's good. She crashes onto the bed and stuffs her face into the pillow. This is just too much for her. She wants to sleep it all away, but her mind just won't shut up. She rolls to lie on her back and looks up at the ceiling. Fiona's so amazing, isn't she? Even when she's having trouble, she stays determined and doesn't give up. And eventually, it all works out for her. She makes it look so easy. It's so easy for her, then I should be able to do it too, right? I want to write. I know I can write. So I should write. I should write, but... I thought that yesterday, too. And nothing changed. Just like last week, and last month, and last year. Is that how it will go tomorrow? This never-ending cycle of hope and disappointment? I can't stand it anymore. But I can't imagine anything else, either. I only see a void. I stumble towards it, fall down, and get back up. And again, and again, and again. I want to stop, I want to run away, but I have nowhere to run to. I have nowhere to go but this void inside me, inside my heart. That was very good. So that's the end of the demo. There's themes here. There's lore. There's themes. I'm very, very invested here. Like, that's a depressing spot to end, but like... Damn, like... It's relatable. The character, like, even in that short period of time, what, it's been like 2 hours? Less than 2 hours? The characters feel flushed out. Everything feels pretty, like, good. There was pizza. There's real locations in Chicago, which is pretty cool. Let's see if we're gonna complete the cycle, and there will be some kind of Guilty Gear player somewhere in here. Oh, it's me. It was me in the credits. Yeah, the mutual envy is gonna be rough. So let's see. I wonder when the full release is. Yeah, this is... Damn, that was good. That was very, very good. Let's see. So while this is up here, I am gonna go look for something else. You know, honestly... I do feel kind of sick. Would it be so terrible if it was a short stream today? I'm gonna be going back for... So tomorrow is Celeste, and so I am going to be donating $1 out of my pocket for every death for the first 200. So that's my goal there. So that's going to be happening tomorrow. That's probably going to be a longer stream, probably starting in mid-morning. Probably I'm going to be aiming for like 11 a.m. So that'll be fun. And then Sunday night, oh God, I have so many streams still. Sunday night is going to be, that's mostly just, it's going to be karaoke and chatting. Also, thanks to donations, I have the permission to crack open a cold one. So that's going to be happening. And then that will also include the Metal Gear Rising boss theme kazoo karaoke, which I am kind of dummy hyped for. Let's see, I think I bought Pedal Crash. Let me see if I actually have it installed already, because I think I might. And if I do, let's see. No, I have Arcade Spirits. That's what I downloaded. Let's see. I went through and I pulled a bunch of stuff. Bye-doo-doo. I'm gonna leave this up here for a bit. Let's see. I think I have. Could have sworn I had it at least. She looks like I don't have Pedal Crash like installed right now, so I need to install it anyway. That was one of the things I didn't like, but that could be a fun thing to check out eventually. So actually, I think I might be calling it here tonight. I'm not feeling well, so I will check out Pedal Crash like sometime in the near future. I'm gonna call this here. Yeah. Sorry, but yeah, it's been a lot of streaming and a very, very busy work week. So let's see, whomst do I know that is streaming that I can send y'all to? Let's see, Holly is streaming, Sammy is streaming. Yeah, why not? Well, thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it, and sorry if I was a little bit lower energy than usual. I have like a terrible like sinus congestion right now, and my head is pounding. But thank you, Fartbath. Thank you, Melon. Thank you again, Stephanie B. I don't know who that could possibly be. All right, who could that be? Also, like 16-bit, I guess. So thank you again, 16-bit. Thank you, Curly, Kodo Robinson, Skeletom, Anonymous, Evie, Owen again, the mysterious friend who was very nice and didn't make me eat the jalapeno, Bon, Stephanie B, Phonon, Trash Can Magic, Blade Brent, Reina, Millennium Cyborg, Shia, and the world famous Painwheel player, Concrete, aka Noah, aka NCV. They tell me that guy's got a mean Painwheel. Alright, well, I'm gonna send y'all over to Sammy, who is streaming the finale of Cafe Enchente, which I think is an Otome game. So if you wanna, so stick around if you wanna watch Sammy play the finale of an Otome game. I am gonna go lay down for a bit, and I will probably be back tomorrow morning to blind play through Celeste, and we'll see how that one goes. And if not, if I see you there, awesome. And if I don't see you, cool. If I do see you, cool. And then Sunday evening is going to be karaoke and hanging out, and probably doing some chatting and talking about and some important things about the future of what I'm planning on doing here. Got heavy things on my brain that I need to sit down and work out, but it should be fun. All right. Say hi to Sammy for me, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And thanks again for all the support for the charity. It means the world to me. Bye.